I've been saved for about 26 years, and the Lord has just blessed me, and He seems to bless me more. This morning I'm going to talk to you about being a witness. I know this fella, you know me, I've always got a fella that I've got to tell you about. And this fella's name is Thomas. I know him pretty well. And y'all know this fella is this in the Bible about a doubting Thomas. All right? This fella here was born number 3 of 5. Number 3 child of 5. He was born in a family where his mother was a drug addict, an alcoholic, and a prostitute. His daddy was a drug addict, an alcoholic, and a severe gambler. And this man here, when he was a little boy, the police came in one Saturday morning and took all the children out of the home. The daddy went to prison, and the children, it's a small town. This man was born in 1948, so it's kind of a long time ago. He's 65 now. And he was a small child. He was about 3, 4 years old or whatever when this happened. And so through child services back in them days, what they would do is small town like that, in a small community, they didn't send these children real far off to a different state or a different place. They kept them right there. So he ended up going to school and being with his brothers and sisters in the same community, and he was so young he didn't even know that they were his brothers and sisters. Some of them he didn't know until they were older that they were brothers and sisters there that he went to school with and knew. And one of them was his very best friend. And he never knew that he was his brother until they got older. It's just the way things were done back in them days. And this fellow was, Thomas was, he was adopted by this family. And you know, some people just shouldn't have kids. That's true. That's just the way it is. But he was adopted. And this man pretty much adopted a son for a farmhand. And so he was mistreated a good bit. And I don't know if y'all ever remember the game where somebody will hold you down and spit in your face and stuff like that. And just mistreated him a lot and just went through, I'd have to say the word here in church, hell, as a small child. I kind of always thought I had a rough time as a child, but when I met this man, I realized that, I had it pretty easy. I had mom and daddy that loved me, even though I was a mess. And so this fella, he went through a hard time as a kid. He was beat. The whole town was told that he was a thief and he was a liar. And if anybody ever had a kid or whatever and tell them that they're mean, you're mean. Don't do that to your kids. It's an awful thing. They start believing it, and when they become adults, they become mean. I know that personally. They told this kid, all kind of stuff. Old Thomas, he had a rough time with life. And he grew up, and he graduated high school and had an opportunity to actually be a clerical worker in high school. And was able to, had an opportunity to even go to college paid for by the state. And he drank it away. And he also had opportunity there, and he got in trouble when he was a teenager. And they says, well, you got 2 choices. You can go to jail, or you can go to the service. He chose the service. The service didn't choose him too very well, though. They throwed him out in about a year because of his drinking and his drugs. And old Thomas, he's just in a mess, And it was 2 people that it was in his life that really loved him. And it was his real grandmother that lived in the same town that he didn't even know that it was his grandmother. But in a small community like that, things are just closer, And then it was a preacher friend of his that he growed up with and went to school, with his kids. And this preacher, he really loved Thomas and done a lot of things for him and taught him and stuff. And old Thomas, he went through life a doubter. He doubted God. He doubted himself. He doubted the world. He doubted the community. He doubted his mama and daddy. He doubted everything. And when he got out of the Air Force after a year, he was drinking and drugging, and he would go get a job, and what he would do is he would work for his habits. And I've kind of been there before a little bit. And so he would work for his habits, and then, with habits like that, you end up losing your job because you can't stand up where you're doing. So he went to job to job to job. He ended up burning all of his bridges there in that little town. He woke up one Sunday morning in his underwear, in a t-shirt, in a ditch, soaking, sopping wet, muddy, and bloody. Somebody had rolled him the night before, took all of his stuff. That's where you just get attacked, and they take all your money and all your wallet and everything. I've never had that happen to me, but I can imagine what it would be like. And they rolled this old fella, and they found himself in a ditch. And he woke up, and he was all a mess. Sunday morning, and he thought, well, I'll just go to my grandma's house. He knew her as Grandma, even though he didn't really know her as Grandma. That's what they called her, And he said, no, I can't do that because she's never seen me in this shape before, and she'll be disappointed in me, So he says, well, I'll go to the preacher's house. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever been called to be a preacher or witness to people, but they'll knock on your door a lot of times. Preachers usually think of, just the church that they're preaching to. It's not like that. It's usually individual or couples or families. I talk to a lot more single people, single by being just me and them, than I do able to do something like this. And people will knock on your door at 12 o'clock at night. And sometimes you don't even know them, or they'll call you on your phone in the middle of something, and they need your help, And so this preacher opened his door and invited the old Thomas in and let him go take a bath and gave him some food and stuff and some drink and gave him some clothes. He invited him to church that morning. And Thomas had a whole lot of questions about God, like we always do when we're first going on like this. And Thomas, he got saved that morning. And he was still a young fella. And he worked with Gibbs Pools, our company, for a very long time. And actually taught me. And he wasn't a Gibbs, but he taught me a lot of the things about the pool business that, that he had experience in, building and plumbing and things of that sort. He was my mentor. And Thomas, as he growed up, after he got saved, he changed his name to Tom. Because Tom was his real name. His adopted family named him Thomas because they thought he was a doubter. He wasn't trustworthy. I found this man to be one of the greatest witnesses I've ever met in my whole life. He retired back 3 years ago. He's 65. He retired at 63. And it about broke my heart, to tell you the truth, because I really, trusted him and loved him. And still, he still comes and works with us every once in a while when I can talk him into it. And he's a strong man. Like I said, he's 65 years old, and he looks like he works out every day. But, he's just muscular, and he takes his shirt off in the summertime, and his back kind of looks like an old saddle or something. He's just been through a lot, And this old guy, he's tough. And old Tom there, he's a witness. And the witness that he has is the witness that he went through his life. And I'd be sitting there and working or something, and he'd be over there with the maintenance guy or the owner of the home or some guy just walking down the street or whatever, and he'd be telling, hey man, I used to be an alcoholic, a drug addict, and he'd be witnessing to them, and he would bring people to Christ. Sometimes we'd be at the Walmart or Lowe's or somewhere and traveling or whatever, and man, he would just walk right up to a stranger and go, hey man, can I tell you about Jesus? And he's just this awesome witness, and he still is. He's this guy that just don't shut up about it all the time. He's always talking about what Jesus done in his life and being a witness. And the big thing is that when he witnesses like that, he tells his story. So what I want to talk to y'all about today is that I meet a lot of people and they have a tough time witnessing to people they work with. I want to tell you something. You can't, in 2015, a lot of jobs, you can't talk about Jesus Christ on your job. You'll get fired. But you can tell about your witness. You can tell about what God done to you and what He's changed you. Now, Thomas in the Bible, I was looking, I'm going to walk up here for a second. Everybody usually uses that thing, but I plan on pounding on this a little bit, and I'll probably break that. But in Thomas in the Bible here, when I started looking and studying about this a couple weeks ago, I was thinking, I'm going to teach Sunday school about Thomas. What an awesome witness. All right, and then I started looking, and everybody know what this is? This is a thesaurus or a concordance. It basically has everything, every single word, every single name, every single everything in the Bible is in this book. And when you start talking about Thomas, him and Thomas in the Bible and Thomas, my friend, Tom, have a lot in common. They're both doubters, and Tom would always, in the pool business, he would always have doubt about his capabilities. For some reason, he was saved, and he was saved to the uttermost, but he would have doubts about his capabilities and about what he believed. Not about God now, not after that, not after the ditch situation, just about his own personal things. And so I started looking through this book, and I realized that there's not a whole lot about Thomas in the Bible. There's a little bit, just enough, exactly enough to tell us about what went on and how he doubted and how God proved to him that he was real. All right, when Jesus was nailed to that cross, you know, with those nails, some people say that they were nailed through his hands. Bible says he was nailed through his hands. There's proof in Gehenna, this ditch, or it's like a sewage or where they throw all the garbage in Israel, and they've been digging all this stuff out of there, and there's nails they have found still nailed to an old rotten cross where the nail was nailed through the palm of the hand here. And then some people say he was nailed through the palm hand here. To me, I think Jesus was nailed through his palm of his hand here. That's the reason they tied him to the cross with ropes. What they was trying to do is make him suffer. They were trying to make him suffer his death. And here in John 20:24, if y'all will look that up real quick. In John 20:24, it talks about Thomas here. And it goes from 24 down to 25, and actually all the way into 29. In the concordance here, I found there was 12 different places in the Bible that mentions Thomas. That's not a lot, but isn't that an odd number, 12? That seems strange to me, but 12 disciples, you know. Anyway, if you would y'all read out loud from 24 to 25, if you have a Bible with you? John 24 through 25. John 24 through 25. Now, Thomas, one who, that's 12, that's right. Yep. That's right. And so that's what he done is he touched those places, and he had to be proved. God had to prove to him that this really happened. Can you imagine being a witness there during that day and following Jesus, meeting Jesus, number one, following Jesus and watching him do the miracles that he done? listening to the words that Jesus said and all the things that he had to show, Thomas. Thomas was standing there, and watching all this stuff and listening to all this stuff. Thomas was also probably in the back of the crowd somewhere watching him get nailed to the cross and watching him get hung on the cross. So he's seen him die. And so he thought, there's no way this fella could live. He's dead. And then in 3 days, he comes up and he comes back alive. And Thomas says, well, I got to touch these holes in his hands and in his side to prove to myself that he is real. And through us getting saved, in our witness, he done the same thing. In my case, I was in jail, and he proved to me in jail that he was real. He showed me his hands and his side, pretty much. You talk about Dave right back here. His witness is awesome. He'll make you fall on the ground and cry like a baby. Listen to his witness. Ronnie's the same way. Now, all y'all have a witness too, and the witness is where y'all got saved, how you got saved. What happened to you as a small child, as an adult, or whatever the case may be. You could have been laying or sitting on an apple tree right here and laying up against it, eating an apple, and an apple hit you in the top of the head, and you thought, I think I'm going to follow Jesus. It could be as simple as that. Or it could be as complicated as some of what we talk about sometimes, how Dave or Ronnie or me or any of y'all got saved. Some of it's very complicated sometimes. And God uses, I hear it all the time, it's mysterious ways. And it is mysterious. We can't figure it out. It's not important to us to figure it out. The important part is Jesus died on that cross and he lives now. Because Thomas, both of them, testified that he lives. I testify that he lives. He lives in my heart. He lives in my mind. And so I'm wanting to encourage you guys and ladies to witness, to learn to witness, to use that witness, to be able to show other people Jesus Christ. And just learn to use your own witness. What happened to you? How did you become saved? Is there anybody here that has a witness?